Hello, hello, hello. Another slice of life with Georgianne Thomas. How you doing today? Listen, normally I have the music going. I have some kind of, something going on today. But I'm going to turn this off because I got a lot and I only do about 30 minutes. And if you remember yesterday, I was at Spelman and I was a freshman. And what else did I have on the one the day before? Okay, a freshman, Packet Hall, all of that. But I found some stuff that I want to show you because I think I talked to you about Spelman's president sending you, so you're not gonna be able to see a lot. But anyway, I found these papers. On that it's gonna say Mr. William Thomas, and then this is the invitation sent by the president. It says President Florence M. Reed of Spelman College requests your presence at a dance to be given at Morgan Hall, Spelman College. And then I have the original, and I made me some copies. And I'm saying to you guys, this was in 1900 and, okay, so whose glasses need the glasses? 34? Yes. 1934. And I'm trying to say, no, this is 36. Georgianne, 1936, and it's at 8 o'clock Saturday evening, 8 to 10. Whoa, 8 to 10. Look at this at Morgan Hall, Spelman College. So Morgan Hall doesn't exist anymore. Morgan Hall is where the new place for the cafeteria, but this is an invitation. And I just thought it was neat to find this. My sister found all this. I guess my mother kept all this, and I never knew it. I never saw any of this until after my stepfather died. I didn't know anything about this. Then I found, I was trying to see where did my father live, and it just says Mr. William Thomas at Morehouse College. So I said, okay. And then this one I loved. The football schedule, 1935. The football schedule, 1935. Of course, November 16th, Clark at Atlanta at Clark Field. Oh, maybe Herndon wasn't up by then. I don't know. We all went to Herndon Stadium. But anyway, it's just nice to have these kind of things. And you have things like this at home, or you may have like those letters that I wrote to my mom about everything we did when we were marching with the Atlanta Student Movement. God, I was just so disappointed when because I didn't know I'd seen some letters, and then I asked for them, and she said, no, these are my letters. And so I didn't, when mama say something. And then when I thought about it, I said, you know what, I need to, chronicle some of that. And she had thrown them away. Interesting. What else did I find that I thought was good? So anyway, I guess he earned a music letter at Morehouse. And then I said, okay, how did all this start? So this is my first time looking at this to really read it. I saw vocational department, Gary, Indiana, William Thomas, special diploma. And I said, special diploma? What's the special diploma? And they gave you a special diploma because he followed the vocational program that was prescribed, and he is required as a musician. So I guess that's why the Morehouse recruit person recruited him for Morehouse and gave him a music scholarship. I just kind of put it together now. But all these little papers around your house and around grandmama's house, you need to get them and send them back to school. And when all this is done, it tells our history, our stories. We need to do something about our stories. We got boxes. Don't let me start. So, and then today, I've seen this picture 1,000 times. But today I was like, here's my dad's high school graduation. And then here's my mom's high school graduation picture. They both finished Roosevelt High School. And I was thinking like, wow, I think my sister may have her diploma. And then I thought, well, let me see what I have here. So I got my dad's graduation from Frabel High School, my mom's picture my dad graduated from Roosevelt High School, my mom graduated from Roosevelt High School, and my picture and diploma from Frabel High School. You see how all that connects? And then people will say, well, who gives a flip? You should give a flip. You should give a flip. Because the stories, history is being rewritten about Black people as a race, as a people. And as much as you can document just your family, put it in a book, put it somewhere. I got all these little pieces of paper, but I like this today. That's me walking across the stage. See that white man giving me my, Lord have mercy. See those white people up there giving me my high school diploma? That was a normal thing to think that I touched his hand, or he touched my hand. And then the lady, I couldn't touch anybody's hand when I came south. Anyway, so here's the story. So my mom ended up finishing Indiana State, and my dad, hold on. Oh, I like these right here. That's funny. And my dad, what's it say? Oh, I never went to the service. I made myself a note. William Bill Thomas, 1916 to 1968, pushed downstairs during Chicago riots during King's assassination. Somebody asked me, father to Georgianne Thomas, pushed downstairs during Chicago riots during King's assassination. That's what happened to him. And then, I think it's important to document every little thing. There's so much that many of you take for granted. You see, even something like this, I didn't know my mother had. And so I've been trying to get them all, Tori and Maya and Phil Davis, musician, all been trying to, this is my dad's music, written in the 30s and the 40s. Look at us. And I'm trying now to get it, because obviously, this is what I know, and this is what he knows. So, obviously, I don't know what any of this says, but I think it's important that I'm so glad that my mother kept it and my stepfather found it. And before he passed away, he sent me some of this. Yes, and then my sister Peggy sent me the rest of it. I think that's the rotation. And then what's last but not least? We're still at Spelman. With these are my first semester, this is the fun thing. Oh my goodness. My first semester grades. You had little tickets, and each person signed the ticket, and this was and here's a carbon copy, carbon on the back. And this was yours. But the original ones went somewhere. But there was another set that went to right here, Taft Street, Gary, Indiana. Grades went home. And why this is especially good, my sister kept this for me, is because Miss Ferris, the late Mrs. Christine King Ferris, was one of my professors and signed my grade sheet. And I didn't know I liked this until Bequita found it. My sister's Peggy. Her name is Bequita, but we call her Peggy. Anyway, just, I don't think you all understand. I know I'm not going to make that assumption. You do understand the power of memorabilia, of, of history, of documenting. Dr. Daniel Black, to me, has documented for us better than anybody the crossing, the transatlantic slave trade in a book called The Coming. I was going to say the crossing of the Atlantic, but I had to make that clear. It's called The Coming. If you don't read anything else, if you don't ever read anything else by Daniel Black, he's got about 12, 15 books. Read The Coming. You won't be the same. You got to read it in, got to read it in parts. Just a little bit. So I'm a freshman at Spelman. That's where we are on this journey. And I wanted to share the past with you, with my mom and my dad. And I was a part of the Granddaughters Club. If you had a mother, or aunt, or a sister, or somebody that came to Spelman, then you could be in the Granddaughters Club. I don't know what we did. I think we would, I don't know what I did. But I was in the Granddaughters Club. About my sophomore year, I was a cheerleader. I wanted to be a cheerleader so badly. Because see, I couldn't do these things in high school. That wasn't happening. But I was a cheerleader at something that's got my neck. Maybe it's too much stuff today. I don't know. But anyway, I was a cheerleader at Spelman for Morehouse. Ooh. When did the fun begin? The fun began because I had met this young man whom I thought went to Morehouse. Turns out he was on the football team for Clark College. And just a big jock. Everybody loved him and knew him. And his friend, his neighbor, because they both came out of Pittsburgh. Atlanta's divided into sections. So not Pittsburgh, the city, but Pittsburgh, a section in Atlanta. And you would know that if you went to Who Lived Here, Where Did They Go? www.whoelivedherewheredidtheygo. Research I collaborated with the Absalom Jones Center for Racial Healing, Dr. Catherine Meeks. Who lived here? Where did they go? All right, so these guys came out of Pittsburgh. And I played tennis, by the way. So I was a tennis player, and I played with this Morehouse guy. And he said he wanted me to meet somebody. I was thinking like, okay, fine. And I met this guy, and I thought he went to Morehouse. He went to Clark College. And he was like everything at Clark College. And there I was. Then I became the cheerleader for Morehouse College. How did that work? Well, you don't know that the number one game in the city of Atlanta was the Clark and Morehouse game. Oh my God. It was like big game. No, and homecoming. You want to see some good homecoming pictures? Go to Pascal's restaurant on Northside Drive. They have gathered the best pictures. There was nothing like a parade of the queens from all the schools. We went to all of them, but I was trying to be a queen myself. They didn't take me. When they offered me the queen, I told them no. They offered me a queen in my senior year. They said, we have voted you to be the queen, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, because you didn't take me my freshman year. And so I had an attitude by my senior year. I wanted to be a queen, but I didn't quite make it. They had, I always thought they had different criteria. And as we got older and more wiser, the criteria changed. And so I looked good enough to be the queen my senior year. And I said, I didn't take it, I turned it down. So that's one thing. But anyway, so I had a great time at Spelman. I was an exchange student. That's a whole nother story. Jean Terry. She probably doesn't want anybody to know that she wanted to exchange with me. that's a whole nother story. Anyway, we went to Naperville, Illinois, right outside of Chicago. It was a sundown town. I didn't know it was a sundown town. We were just on exchange. And I remember Gene and I going, and what made it good for me, my dad was right in Chicago. So I could go to Chicago, and then we went over to Gary to see my mom. It was like being at home for me, which is why Gene probably would say, I went on exchange by myself. Anyway, there were 3 black women there, the 2 from Spelman and a young lady named Barbara. The whole basketball team was black. Really, it didn't click with me. I don't know. I was busy being 19. Yeah, I was 19 by that time. So I found out later it was a sundown town. One of the things that surprised me was, I think Gene, Barbara, and I went to Jewel's, and they had a Jewel's in Naperville on our first night or second night. And the person at the store said, you must be the girls from Spelman. I was wondering how she knew that. I think about it now. Everybody in the whole town knew who we were. It was interesting. That was a new kind of, you know, I'd gone south in March. I'd come from Chicago and Gary. This is what amazes me too, how your parents protect you. So you could go to North Michigan and shop and go different places, State Street, go over to Jewtown, go to, where else? Go to the Field Museum, you know, go to Navy Pier. But you went to, was it the 56th Street? You went to a certain beach. I don't know what other beaches were available, but when I'm a kid in the 50s now. We went to a beach, it was all black people at the beach in Chicago. And what beach was that? I know you all know. You know, how is it that people hate you for the color of your skin? That's how I felt when I was marching and holding my placard and putting my life in harm's way. I couldn't understand that they didn't know me. I always say that you don't know anything about me. How could you how could you decide who I was? Just on the color of my skin. You never spoke to me. You see, I wasn't a dummy. Isn't it amazing how we thought, at least Spelman, maybe it wasn't just Spelman, I think our parents and your parents, you know, you had to speak well, and we dressed well, and we looked nice, and we went to school, we educated ourselves, we read, whatever it was. I could always go to the library, but they had places where people could get books, you know, we listened to classical music, all of that, wishing for that pat on the head. We wanted that pat on the head. Oh, y'all some good people. You know, and how carefully you gathered your thoughts before you spoke, which we should do anyway, you know, but you know what I'm saying. It's just, all of that came, I mean, we practiced it. Well, the best place to practice it was in college. And we had to, what was wrong with speaking well? There wasn't anything wrong with that. And what was wrong with gaining knowledge? Nothing wrong with that. What was wrong with looking nice? Nothing wrong with that. What was wrong with trying to be the best that you can be? Not a thing was wrong with any of it. But somewhere along the line, it was supposed to transfer to when we got with the others, that there would be an acceptance level. And we're in 2023. I'll be out of college 60 years in 2024. And there is no acceptance level, really. You know? I think, so let me just keep going with that. So you never know who your roommate's gonna be next door. Okay, let me talk about I'm out of Packard Hall. I write a letter to Dean Johnson. I'm cheerleader. I'm a cheerleader. I'm an associate editor of the newspaper Spelman. I came up with a section of the newspaper called Aesthetically Speaking. Yes, that came from me. And we had Aesthetically Speaking across the top. We put all the poems. I wrote under a pseudonym, Naja Toy. That's my poems were always written under that name. Anyway, it was fun, and school was good. So what happened after that? Oh, I got sick. Oh my God, I remember I got sick, and I had to stay out of school a semester. Had to stay out of school a semester. Was that after I gone up with Jean Terry to Naperville? It was a good experience. I tell you one thing, I'm giving you all something to laugh about. The people in the dorm want to know, what's that I smell? I decided that I was going to press my hair. So I found the stove. I had my hot comb, and I pressed my hair. I sure did. And they all came running, and I didn't stop pressing my hair. No. Whatever that meant. What's that I smell? It went on, because it was a learning experience for somebody. But I pressed my hair. That was one of the things I remember. And I remember going to the Jewel and they knowing that we were there. So, and I remember not doing the best I could have done in school up there either. I don't know what got into me. I think my aunt was living too. Aunt Eleanor, the seamstress. That's why I get the sewing part that you don't know about. Oh, different layers to all of us. And so let's go to the junior year. I think I was out a semester because I didn't graduate with Spelman 64, walk across the stage. I graduated Spelman 64. They sent me the paper in August because I was in Canada in school for the summer, which is a whole nother story. So where are we now? We're at my junior year. I love being a cheerleader. It was so much fun. We would travel. When I went up to Howard, we played Howard. Morehouse played Howard. I was going to be all of that, just cute. And I said, I'm going to do, we talk about who's going to do a flip. So I'm going to do a flip. I got the flip of the flips. It was the flip of the flip, all right on my behind. People laughed so hard, and I did too. I said, that's what you get. Come on, you got the flip. And we had a good time. And did I tell you I was in the choir, the Spelman Glee Club? Yes, I was. Don't ask me how I got in, because I don't know to this day. We had people that could sing. Betty Lane. Oh my God. Dolores John Strawberry stood next to me. She helped me out a lot. I introduced her to her husband, by the way. Oh, I had a bunch of Spelman women. A whole bunch of Spelman women that I introduced to Clark. After I got with this brother, I was like, whoa, there's some more brothers somewhere? Y'all come over here with me. I married off a lot of people. I did. Had the football team. Had Spelman women. Anyway, I digress. All right, let's go to, where am I? My junior year or something? Yeah, I think so. So I wrote this letter. Yeah. I talked about the Spelman spotlight. Where I was up to be editor. That's a whole nother story. My mother thought that I was doing too many things. And back then, I told you the grades went home. Well, the grades would go home. And parents could call and say, do this, do that, da-da-da-da. My mother called and said she thought I was doing too many things. And I didn't get to be editor. They went and got Ida Rose. And I was thinking but Ida Rose ain't done nothing with the paper. She was a smart woman. Oh, you got the right one. But I was the one who had worked hard, brought the paper up, and had Aesthetically Speaking and da-da-da-da. Everybody knew I worked hard in that paper, but I had to just say, okay, that was my mother. My mother said that, so maybe I just need to I had to swallow and let it go and still be the associate editor. And with Ida Rose, who was a good friend, she was fine with it, and I was fine with it. But I just remember how parents back then, they did a lot. They stayed with you all the way through school, which now that we don't have that going on. That's a law, FERPA law, I think so. Anyway, so my junior year was pretty good. There's just some things that we learned at Spelman that seemed silly, I think, maybe, but it was just to make us a better person, make us better women. We were always dressed. Now, did that hurt or help? I don't know if it did or not, but you always had to dress. Oh, we protested to wear pants. So our class did. I think it was our class. Somebody can correct me. But we could wear pants on Saturday. Or we could wear pants during the week. I'm not sure which one it was. We had Howard Zinn at Spelman. Howard Zinn did a lot to help with the movement. And I tried to take his class. I was a French major. And I had to take French and Spanish. So I was a foreign language major. I took French and Spanish. So the French teacher and the Spanish teachers knew I was in both classes. So I would write in both languages. Well, when I got over there with Dr. Zinn and the Chinese class, I lasted in that class about a week, maybe two, wherever it had the don't come back, drop, add, whatever. I had to come. I had too much going on. I was trying to take I was trying to play the bass fiddle. And I was trying to take Chinese. I had French and Spanish. I was a cheerleader. I'm just tired trying to think about it. Anyway, it was just too much. It was just too much. I think I was trying to be all of that. And I went to Spelman to be a clinical psychologist. But the French just got a hold of me. Madame Ock, oh my goodness. Do I have her? I think I have. Do I have Madame Ock? Oh, I loved her. Let me see if I have Madame. Well, did I have her my freshman year? I think so, because I had already had Spanish, and I didn't want to take Spanish anymore. Because I said I already had that. I could pass that. I had it in high school. I do. Oh my God. Of course I got an A. Claire Ock. H-A-A-C. Wow. Just memories are so good. Anyway. That made me feel great. Anyway, my time is about to go. So I made it through Spelman. I wrote this letter. I got to tell you this. I wrote this letter to Dean Johnson. I talked about Howard Zinn. He was just the best. I didn't know all about the communists and whatever else they said about him. I knew that this man could. I hated history. I loved his history class. I did. He brought it to life. He was Dr. Zinn. People loved him. He was friends to the student. He helped with the Atlanta student movement. He helped us just think through what we were doing, how we should do it. Howard Zinn. I'm a Zinnite. That's what I call myself with him. Okay. I wrote this letter that we should have a French dormitory. And they let us have one. But they didn't make me they gave the job to, we had 2 students though. I think one was from Africa too. Okay, well, anyway, I didn't get the job. I wanted that job. I had a little job. I did. I had a job for about 30 minutes. Let me see, maybe a little longer. Because you could get extra money to go buy stuff in the little, we had a snack room. Here's a funny thing. Back then, smoking cigarettes was a classy thing, supposedly. I don't know. But people smoked cigarettes. And it looked so classy. And, you look so something, I thought. And all the movies had, And so, I'm going to get me some cigarettes. But they cost, whatever they cost, the hamburger and the french fry cost, and the Coke cost the same thing as a package of cigarettes. You know how long that lasted? I was like, why are you going to pay all that for that when you can get 3 things over here? You get that. That's all you get. You still hungry? Girlfriend never got hooked on cigarettes. The Lord was looking out for me. Anyway, so we got the French dorm. I'm gonna hurry up. And next door, I was a roommate with Sharon Lundy, who is Sharon Lundy on TV in Chicago. Who did she marry? Bobby Jordan up in WGN. Yeah. Anyway, next door was Alice Walker. She lived next door. I tell you all the time, you don't know who you don't know. Anyway, I got kicked out the dorm. I got kicked out of the very dorm that I started. I had to go over to Abbey. And when I got over to Abbey, I don't think I had a roommate though. Anyway, at least I didn't get kicked out of school. Cause you're not supposed to sign somebody in. I signed somebody in or something like that. It was a hot mess. I'm like, girl, you need to try to graduate. I haven't told you anything good that I did in school. It's all right. I guess it's, I want people to know that you can still graduate from college and you can still turn out to be somebody, and you can still do good for your community, which I've tried to do, and you can love thy neighbor as thyself. So anyway, I'm going to come back to you and talk about, I didn't march, but I had baccalaureate. You see all those beautiful pictures of me that my family took. My mother and dad, stepdad, and I didn't have a sister by then. Yeah, I did. My sister and my brother. Did they all come down? I think they all came down. Somebody came down. But just that part, it was good. And then I went to Canada, and I did my last semester at the l'Université de Laval. I think that's right. I haven't spoken French in so long. And I lived in Basseville. And I lived with a French family, which is a whole, they had 2 black people, but they had the ship came in, because I was up at the top, Quebec was where, I was at the top of the St. Lawrence River. That's where the school was. And so the sailors came in, but I had to be the only black woman in the whole city. And I'm going to tell you why. Why? When you hear this story, you're going to be like, Georgianne, oh my God, I got some stories for you, but I'm past my time right now. So anyway, I love you. A Slice of Life with Georgianne Thomas. I don't even need to say Dr. Georgianne. I don't need to say that to anybody. Just forget the doctor part. Georgianne.